Alright, well, this is my first ever YouTube video of me painting. I'm so excited. Saying that out loud feels kind of weird. Because, yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of nervous, but I'm also really excited. I've been wanting to do this for a while now. I have recorded my painting process before as time lapses or just documenting the process with, yeah, like taking pictures, but never something like this. And I think it's a very interesting exercise, or I hope it can be an interesting exercise because with this type of paintings, I believe the process is way more important than the end result. And what I mean by that is that, I've painted by this point different types of artworks. I've done murals, drawings that have meaning for a community. I have done commissions. I have done artworks that, they have a specific theme because they're part of collaborative exposition in a museum. I've done my own paintings, things that I maybe have drawn on a sketchbook and then I want to pass them into a canvas. But with this type of paintings, I have no plan. I don't know what I'm going to paint. I have no idea what I'm doing, literally. And that's interesting because the canvas is developing as I'm painting it. It's growing through the whole process. And that's so beautiful. I think this is my favorite type of canvases. And I not often do them, but when I do them, I feel a lot of relief. They often bring a lot of peace to me. This one started because I just woke up that day and I was feeling, well, not that day, probably when I made the drawing, I woke up that day feeling kind of stressed out, and it was not my top 10 days, okay, let's just say that. And I just felt like I needed to paint, okay, and then that's a very specific feeling. It's very, for me, like, it's very personal, but it's a very peculiar feeling because it's the same way as maybe going for a walk. Obviously I like going for a walk. I like being outdoors, but sometimes when I'm stressed out or I'm about to take an important decision, I'm like, okay, wait a second, I need to go for a walk. Like, obviously it's an activity that you do because you like it, but sometimes you just feel like you need to do it. That's the same with painting, but it's very specific because I think that painting, it's not only about clearing my mind and releasing stress, but in my paintings I also search for a lot of things that could definitely give me area to talk for another whole video. But yeah, like the reason of what am I looking when I paint, or the things that I found in painting. But yeah, the thing is, it's not only about releasing stress or, yeah, like clearing the mind, like when I'm walking or journaling. In painting, I'm also searching for a challenge. Painting is interesting and fun to me because it's challenging. It's also about experimenting. I feel like I'm in a laboratory in some sort of way because I'm just having fun and I'm experimenting, and I love that. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing, and that day I just woke up and I was like, I need to paint. I just know I need to. I had no canvas, so I went to my nearest art shop, and the one that stood out to me the most was the square canvas. Why? I don't know. I'm not thinking about composition at this point. That was the one that caught my eye, so I bought the square one. I got home and I opened the canvas. By the way, that specific action of opening a new canvas is magic to me. Pure magic. I love it. I feel like someone new is being born. Yeah, very specific, but I love it. Okay, so continuing, I started drawing, and often when I do this type of exercises of just drawing for the pure pleasure of drawing, I often draw faces. I think I'm very inclined of drawing people, and mostly they're women, I won't lie. So yeah, I started drawing the head, and then I was gonna give this person features on. So this is the moment where we start taking decisions, right? Because it's like, what kind of features do I want to give to this person? And since I've been lately interested in what I will call clean lines and like very like perfect geometry, I didn't want it to make it like in a quote-unquote realistic face. So I draw that one face, and then also now we have to take another decision. Okay, it's a woman, what kind of hair does she want to have? I was not vibing with drawing a curvy hair because I've done that lately. I just wanted to make something different. Plus, I felt like she needed to have sharp edges and like very strong corners, because I do attempt to draw this with a bold line. So yeah, her hair is almost like a square, which I liked. And I thought of drawing her tears. I just felt like she needed to be crying. That might sound a bit sad, but I just felt like she needed to. And I saw a drawing the other day that someone drew tears as circles, and I thought that was an interesting concept. Plus, yeah, inspiration, let me just say this, inspiration comes from literally anywhere to me. Could be a sound, could be a song, could be a poem, could be something that I saw on the street, something that I dreamed maybe. I think it went in actually my background. I have a landscape that I dreamed. It could be another painting, like going to a museum, could be many things, honestly. And I think, yeah, when I'm painting these kind of things, well, I feel like I have mental mood boards, and I just have things in my mind which I categorize. So yes, like mentally I have things or elements that I would like to add to some paintings. So when I thought of tears, I thought of that one drawing that I saw. Like I say, they look almost like circles, and I thought that was interesting because I love drawing circles. And then I remember, like, I had in my head a song of, I think it's by Sia, and she says in the song something like, watching my tears as they dry. And I was thinking about that, and I thought it was so interesting thinking of tears as part of the composition, of our face composition, because tears do belong to our face. It's just that they fade away, so we never see them as an element of our face because they're not there all the time, they're just temporary. So I thought it was going to be interesting just playing with that element in the composition. So again, that's what I added. And now I'm painting the background with a baby blue, mainly because I do attempt to paint her face as a real skin tone. This time she's not going to be green or purple or blue. I do want her to have a real skin tone, and for that reason it's going to be easier for me to understand the color palette if the background is not completely white. So the background is not going to be blue, I'm just painting that temporarily. Then I felt like the composition was missing something. Like I said, the painting is growing as I'm painting it, but it's also a dialogue. I don't think I'm doing completely my will. I think I'm also kind of asking her what does she wants. So it's a conversation or some sort of exchange of ideas. It's almost like a dance. I dance with my paintings, and I mean that literally and metaphorically. Now that I say about the dance and exchanging ideas, this reminds me of a story. When I was a bit younger, I remember watching my mom decorating a cake because she loves decorating cakes, and she also bakes cakes, and she's amazing. I'm not saying this only because she's my mom. Like, honestly, I love when people do what they love. You know, when someone is so passionate about their job or what they do, I vibrate love. Like, I love like, I love when people love something, you know. It inspires me a lot. So you can tell this woman loves her job. So she was decorating this one cake. I think, yeah, it was like a white cake, and she was putting this red roses. She was doing roses. I feel like decorating cakes is almost like sculpting things that you can eat. So yeah, she was doing these roses, but she was looking not convinced. She was looking kind of like, I don't know, kind of stressed out maybe, because it seemed like she was not liking it. And she took away the flowers and put them in some other part, and then didn't like it again and started all over. I was like, just wondering, like, how's your process? I don't remember exactly what I asked her, but it was like about her process. Like, how do you know what you're about to do? Because these cakes that she's doing are for stock, like they're gonna be in exhibition. So she has the freedom to decorate this cake however she wants. She has freedom, okay? So this was one of those cakes. They're gonna be an exhibition, and yeah, she can do whatever she wants, right? And I was asking, like, how do you know what you're going to do? She's like, well, I have a concept. I know I want to put flowers on it, but sometimes when the cake is not cooperating, in my head, I'm talking with them. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, what's going on? Why aren't you cooperating? What's happening? What is happening? What's going on? You know, she's like talking with the cake, kind of like negotiating with the cake. And she's like, could you please cooperate? What do you want? You don't want flowers? Maybe you want, I don't know, sprinkles? Or maybe you don't like this type of flowers. And she was telling me, like, in her head, she's having this one conversation. And I was amazed because I've never thought of that. Like, I never realized that I do that with my paintings. It's not a real conversation. You're not having a one-on-one conversation with this unanimated object, but it is in some sort of dialogue or exchange. Because, yeah, it just feels like, wait a second, I don't think my painting wants flower. I think my painting wants something else. I think she wants something a bit more bold. Or it's like, wait a second, I don't think she's liking this. Like, I don't think I could change this. Maybe I should change this other thing. You know, it's about kind of like following your intuition. And I love that, because when you have that type of perspective with painting, nothing that you do is a mistake. How could it be? How could this be, like, how could this stroke that maybe now looks kind of bad or looks kind of off is a mistake? If I have no plan. If I have no plan, everything is part of the plan. You know what I mean? Like, how could taking this one step make me get lost? If I don't know where I'm going, I'm just going. So it is beautiful. I think it's such a nice type of process. So yeah, I was not fully convinced of the composition, and I started this one dialogue, like, should I add flowers? Should I change her hair? Should I add something in the background? And then I thought of, okay, I think maybe she's missing something right in front of her face, because I think that's the part of the canvas that feels like a blank space. And I thought of adding a mask, mainly because, I don't know, that's an element that I stored in my head for, like, using later, and I never had the chance to add it in a painting. I think this was going to be a good opportunity to do so. And I've been wanting to use a mask since I went to this museum. I think it was called Arte Huichol, and this museum, it's in Guadalajara, Mexico. And the Huichol people is a indigenous group of Mexico that's mostly known for doing hands and craft with shakira. And shakiras are these very tiny small stones. So just imagine them doing amazing things with dots, like literally dots. It's amazing. And obviously it's expensive because it's a lot of work. So yeah, that's obviously something very interesting about them. But what stood out to me the most is when I came across the concept that they have for masks, because I think that often I see mask, or I have the concept of mask have been presented to me as something that it's scary, or either like secrecy, like people use them to hide something, to hide their true intentions, or if they had it like a hidden agenda, and yeah, it just kind of like it's fake, you know, or yeah, it's a symbol of hypocrisy. But here, the Huicholes use it as a spiritual symbol that connects the material world with the spiritual world. So, for example, there are many reasons why they use masks for spiritual ceremonies, storytelling, and also when they're going to fight someone, like if they're gonna, yeah, just have a combat with their enemies, they would craft a mask that represents the same, like the equal, even more power than their opponents. And I believe that by using it, they will obtain, or they will absorb the qualities that the masks have. And I think that's amazing. That's so interesting, because instead of thinking that you're using a mask because you're hiding something, it's just about thinking of this idea of, you know, providing for yourself, like crafting something that you know you need, and then you use it, and that changes you. This also reminds me of this quote of how it is outside, it's inside. So I don't know, I just thought that was so amazing. Obviously, it has some sort of quality of magic, because yeah, it's about thinking that this material object will change you and you will absorb powers. But just thinking of it as something, I don't know, that maybe we can land in a more like in our daily basis. I think we all use masks. At least I see it when I manipulate the way that I dress depending on where I go. And I don't know, if I'm going to an elegant restaurant with my friends, I if I wear something elegant and sexy, I feel elegant and sexy, you know? So it's yeah, so it's about kind of like manipulating the out world, like the outside, and then eventually changing the inside. So yeah, I thought that was gonna be interesting, and I started drawing the mask, but then I didn't completely like it because I literally copied the mask that I saw on the museum, and then I just thought like, no, wait a second, I don't think if I don't think if I want it to be that kind of specific. So then I was like, wait a second, I need to maybe try something else, and that's why I took a picture of it and took it to Procreate, and now I'm exploring the idea of maybe she's not wearing a mask, like a literal mask, but maybe she can be wearing her own face. And yeah, I just kind of like trying to follow the same language because the mask was just looking kind of off because it's a different kind of visual. But even if I paint it with the same style that I'm painting, it's just gonna look kind of off. So yeah, I just thought it was gonna be interesting to maybe see if she's wearing her own face. And yeah, that's kind of like something that I'm now exploring and playing with this. So I'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired at this point. I don't know how it's going to end, but we'll figure out later. Bye.